All right, everybody. Really exciting guest here tonight. We have Alok Mishra, the producer of One Bedroom. David Maramar. I'm the worst at butchering names, David. So I'll let you punch me in the face one day. And Naomi Grossman are joining us on our show. We're really excited to talk about the new movie One Bedroom. How is everybody doing tonight?
Doing great.
Really good.
Doing good.
All right, all right. Well, we'll see how you're doing after the show. I hope you guys have drinks and beers ready to go. First off, I gotta just say, loved the film. I thought it went from like the speed limit in a neighborhood like 35 to like 100 miles an hour in the last 20, 30 minutes, and like no. And the one bad thing I'm gonna say about it, it's not necessarily a bad thing, is like I want more. No, don't end. I want to see what happens. I blew me away. I have so many questions, but yeah, we'll kick it off. So my first question, Luke and David. Um, David, you're the director. Luke, you're the producer. How did you guys hook up? How did this come to fruition?
Uh,
You go ahead.
oh, I wrote the script, the first draft of the script a long, long time ago, kind of roughly based on how it felt to me when I moved to LA and lived in an apartment complex, kind of like the one in the movie. Obviously, not as extreme as that one. And then nothing happened with the script for years. And then years later, I signed with my managers, Allard Cantor and Jared Murray at Epicenter, off of a different script. And they asked for what else I had, and I really didn't have anything else I was excited to send them. So I sent them one bedroom. And to my happy surprise, they really responded to it and said, we think we can get this made and we think we can get you to direct it, which is, music to my ears. I went away for a couple months and I did a major rewrite of it because I'd really changed as a writer by then. And then they went out with it, and Alok can pick it up from there.
Yes, as David likes to say, I got my grubby hands on it from his manager, Allard Cantor, and also Jared Murray, who have a company, Epicenter, and they're actually producers on the film as well. It just so turned out to be that my wife, who's from New Jersey, like you, Ken,
All right.
went to high school with Jared, with
I'm
Allard.
not from New Jersey. I'm actually from Los Angeles, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah.
sorry. But Allard was her high school friend. We had one of those lunches in LA like you do, and he gave me two scripts to read, and I promised I'd read them. I never fucking read them for like 6 months. It took me to read them. And when I finally got back, I had another project that was going on that was actually in pre-production, so I was very distracted. And then that project fell through, so I was like, "Holy shit, I got to find something." And I read both the scripts, and one of the scripts was Tragedy Girls, if you know that film. And I was like, I came from a background of testing movies for like 18 years. I did market research for film. And what I always found was that for horror comedies, it's hard to pull them off because one side is invariably dissatisfied with what you have. It's not scary enough, or it's like too scary. It's not funny enough. And I went to them and I was like, that's the reason I could never do that film. And they're like, yeah, we just finished shooting that a week ago. And I was like, oh, what the fuck do I know then? And so the other script I read I loved, which is David's script. And they set up a meeting, we met, we had the same sensibilities. And, he was first time writer-director for a feature. And my partner, Shane Morriser, and I, who have a company called Malevolent Film, we try to do elevated horror. That's what we're trying to do. It was our first film, too. And so what could go wrong? First time director, writer, and also first time producers. Like I said, the rest is history. It goes from there. Yes, everything.
So that
That's
that
the
was
movie. The movie came out well, but everything else.
well. You were there to whip him into shape, so that kind of worked out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So Naomi, it's a good thing that you chimed in because my next question was to you. A few shows back, we had Chad Farron on who directed The Chair, and you played a horrifying character in there. It's really scared me. Absolutely loved your role there. So how did you get involved in the film?
Um, well, Alok and I are old-time friends.
Hmm.
He is originally from Los Angeles, and so when I first moved here, or rather, one of our mutual friends introduced me to him. They grew up together. So one of my old friends from college. I basically came here, didn't have any friends, and so her friends became my friends, and that was Alok. So that was convenient. And you know, since then, obviously horror sort of became my thing. I wasn't necessarily seeking it out, but it found me, and so it all sort of fell into place. I mean, I know I've always wanted to work with Alok, and I would hope he would say the same. And so, but
I mean,
you know, it was.
I can tell you something about Naomi Grossman. Naomi Grossman's a great friend, old friend, and we've known each other for years. And even when our shoot was 15 days. That's all we had, right? Then we got a chance to do some reshoots for like 4 days. Just so happened the reshoots were during the Emmys, and Naomi Grossman had been nominated for an Emmy. And even despite that, like, she'd be like, you know what? I could be at that like fucking party over there in that gifting suite, getting like a trip to like Barbados, but I'm here shooting your fucking movie, Mishra. And I was like, thank you. It was so sweet to do it, right? So that's how good of friends we are, that she came and helped us out even when her time to shine was on. You know, it was definitely.
Now I'm quarantined in a 2-bedroom when I could have been at on my own private island, but alas.
The things we do for our friends. So, and my friends here. Speaking of which, I'm gonna pass. I have 1,000 questions for you guys, but I'm not gonna take all your time. I'm gonna pass it on over to Muse and see what she's got for you guys.
All right, hey guys. So my first question is going to be for David and Alok. So I was going to ask first, David, what was the most challenging scene for you to film during One Bedroom? What was like probably the one where you're just like, okay, this scene, I don't know about this.
I mean, there are several. I mean, a lot of the scenes were difficult for different reasons. The whole ending sort of exit through the courtyard and the front exit was really tough just because of our schedule. We were shooting in a real apartment complex that had real residents, and so we had really heavy restrictions on when we could shoot. And that scene obviously is outdoors at night, and we only had about 3 hours of darkness to shoot every day. And we were in the complex for 4 days, but our schedule was such that we only had 1 day to shoot the whole exit. So basically we had 3 hours to block and shoot that entire exit scene, which was brutal. And we didn't quite get there. We ended up having to pick up some extra stuff. And then we were lucky enough to be able to go back and do some reshoots later. And we got to fix some of the problems with it. But that scene was just really, really stressful. But in terms of just sort of scenes that were difficult to pull off from a sort of an acting and directing standpoint, I would say the two that stand out to me were Miss Stanhope's final scene, not to put too many spoilers in, just because it was practically everybody, the whole cast is in that scene, and a whole bunch of extras, and it's all in a confined space, and there was just a lot to manage. And it's also a really intense, it's a really intense acting scene between Nicole and Giles, who plays Brian, and Susan, who plays Miss Stanhope. So that one was I had a lot of anxiety going into that one, just because it was going to be so sort of complicated to manage. But I'm happy with how that one came out. And then the scene that I think I was most nervous about, just from is this scene even going to work at all, is the scene between Sarah and her father that happens kind of late in the movie. Just because there's a really tricky dance that's happening in that scene. There's so many kind of levels of what they're going through. And it was one of these things where, if the actors don't nail it on the day, and we had almost no rehearsal time, so we were really going into it blind. But both of them were so incredible. It came together. But yeah, I would say those are the scenes that really stand out to me as being tough.
Alok, did you want to chime in, or was it, were there different challenges for you?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing for me that broke my heart is we had, and this is a little spoilerish, we had this whole scene where Sarah actually tries to take her own life, and kind of slashes her own throat. And we had to, and it's an amazing scene, and there's a great visual of kind of pulling out, and you see that they saved her, and there's all these blood stained things around her, so she looks like this blood stained angel, and like when we saw the first cut, it just wasn't there. We're like, what the fuck happened here? Why isn't that scene in there? That was expensive shit, Marmor. And he's just like, just didn't work. And I'm like, you're right, but I hate you. I don't hate Mark. I love Mark. But that was one of the things that was heartbreaking that we didn't have in the movie. And I was like, we spent so much money. But that'd probably be it for me in terms of that one scene. That's everything else was, of course, brilliant.
So yeah, speaking of really interesting scenes, there was a symbol in the movie, and we saw it branded on the tenants of the apartment complex. So I was wondering about, how did you guys arrive at, why did you guys choose this symbol? Like, what did it mean? And like I said, this is for both of you as well.
Well, I mean, in terms of the actual symbol itself, it's just the logo of the real estate company. And what I was going for with that, I had a really specific, I actually kind of like the basic design of that I did myself, and then the production design team made it look nice. But I wanted it to have like everything that's to do with CDE and with Ellerby, I wanted it to have kind of a 70s feel. Yep. Like, not too high tech, not too really, as if they had kind of designed it themselves, and like everything kind of has a little bit of a DIY feel, I think, to the community. So that was sort of the idea behind having that kind of simple logo. And then in terms of like, why have that? To me, it served a lot of purposes. Like one was just to have a kind of a visual marker that we could keep bringing back that wouldn't necessarily mean anything to you at the beginning. You see it on the sign at the very beginning. It's almost in the first shot of the movie. You see it on the sign, and then you see it on the memo that she keeps getting sent. And the hope was that it would kind of keep collecting meaning and keep becoming a little more ominous until you get, by the time you get to that branding scene, it really means something. And then, of course, not to give too much away, but then you see it again at the end, and hopefully that really, can signal the wider world that we're starting to talk about. I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh, it does. It does. I was just curious. I'm always, noticing, little details and stuff in movies. I'm a detail person. So I loved that. I was like, this means something. I want to know what this means.
Well, you also see it with Naomi, like holding up the cake that has like the symbol on it. And then you also
actually, no, I'm kidding. I saw the symbol.
you also weirdly, here's the thing, the glass doors that she comes in and out, like the whole like sort of like front of the lobby area of the apartment complex, the glass doors almost had the CDE like symbol within the glass, and we're like, what are the chances of that? Like, almost.
No, I missed that. I missed that. You're right.
I mean, somebody go back and look for Easter egg. Like, it's not quite there, but it's almost there.
Awesome. So I'm going to switch over to Naomi because I'm so excited. I am a huge fan of Naomi Grossman, and I love American Horror Story. And I'm going to start with One Bedroom, of course, though. So you play the character of Janice, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were when you read for Janice. Were you like, I'm going to rock this character out, I'm going to make this character, my own? Or like, what were your thoughts when you were reading for the character of Janice?
So reading for meaning auditioning.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Because it's funny, Alok doesn't remember this at all, but I did audition. I think in his mind, I was cast, so there was no auditioning. But I did. I had I just come from like kind of a disastrous speaking engagement in which I literally had people like protesting my appearance, which never happens, by the way. But it kind of threw me. But I had to, get on with it. Had an audition that day, So I remember going straight from LAX to the audition, where I want to say they actually had me read another character, actually, which made sense because, no offense to Janice, but this other role had a little more to do. So, right. They were able to sort of see me a little more. But it's funny, Alok you wouldn't know it talking to him now. He's quite conversant, but if he wants to, I just know I've been to many a drunken Trivial Pursuit game with him, where if he will literally throw off his competitors by just reading crazy. And so here I am, like auditioning against Alok. You know, Alok is basically my reader in the room, and I swear to God, I was like, "What is he saying?" Like he has this special gift of like reading insane. If he
I wasn't trying to do that, by the way. I wanted you, like, I mean, you already had the role, but I was just like, all right, I gotta go.
Oh, I know. You're not even aware of it.
I'm not aware of it.
But you know, it's a good thing I already had the role, because if I was, you know, auditioning with a like, and that was in a real audition situation with a real reader. Well, Alok's not a real reader. That's the point. I got really lucky.
We had such a small production that you have to do like all these different roles as a producer, like
well, of course,
when you have like no money. And one of them was like acting. You know, and I'm not an actor, by the way. I was just saying I'm not an actor. I was just asked to read the lines against people. So my own defense, I hopefully will have a lot more money next time. That will never happen again.
No, I mean it's sweet. It's lovely. I mean, for people watching the movie, like, you know, drink every time you see Alok as an extra. It's one of those, you know what I mean? Like, it is that low budget of film.
That's my least favorite.
But what's wonderful is it doesn't look like it. They managed to put together, you know, they managed to like make a movie that's like what USA Today named it like number 13. What if of all the numbers to get on the list? I mean, of course you want number 1, but number 13 ain't bad in the history of horror movies of 2020, the most horrible year we've ever had. It's not nothing. So anyway, I'm very proud of them, and especially that's what makes, as far as I'm concerned, it even more miraculous. Like that they could go with this like little budget where like the producer himself is having to like stand in and be the reader and, you know, be an extra here and there, and you know, and yet they still managed to really pull it off.
Well, you guys did it beautifully, because I need to go back and watch it again and see if I can see Alok anywhere. I'm just gonna
yeah. Now. You'll see him everywhere.
Going back.
Yeah, I was sitting at Video Village and they call like, we need fucking more extras. Take your shirt off, put another shirt. Why do you wear a shirt with, like, you know you're gonna be in the scene every day. You know this, right? And I'm like, I don't know this. I'm hoping I never have to be in that movie again. You know, it's like, I was mover number 1, and the other producer, Shane Vorser, was mover number 2. You will see us constantly throughout the film, I promise you, if you look for it. I have like I look exactly like I look now, most of it, to be honest.
David's parents are in it. I think everyone
Yeah.
close to us.
My nephew's in it.
My mom came to visit. We shot actually during Christmas and the Emmys. The only times I ever see my mother, and we were shooting. But she would have loved to have been in it, but she looked too much like Mrs. Stanhope, that it was going to be confusing if there was all these like white-haired ladies, like, you know, running around. And why are you going to sacrifice one and not the other? Oh, spoiler. But you know what I mean.
We don't know how it happened. So
that's right.
Yeah. So real quick before I pass it off to Chris, I wanted to ask you about American Horror Story, and I loved your character of Pepper. You played 2 seasons. I wanted to know what you were thinking when you tried out for Pepper. You know, like what's the story there? How did that all come about? I loved her character. I love the show, and you.
Well, actually, I did 3 seasons, one of which was not as Pepper, however. The third was Apocalypse,
right.
Which I was a Satanist, which actually we were shooting right around 1BR. So again, if you look real carefully, you'll see my hair changes color slightly because they dyed it quite dark for the show. And I was like, oops, you know. What are you gonna do? But the audition for Pepper was crazy. I mean, obviously, like, changed my life, but it sure didn't. you wouldn't know it. It was just an audition like any other. They had me do a monologue of Jessica Lange's from season 1, and then they gave me a ball and they asked me to try to get them to play with them, like basically improvise as if I were a 4-year-old, which at the time I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like I had
Right.
The show is very secretive. Like they don't give you anything. And so I asked a friend of mine that watches a lot of television, like, well, what's this show? And so he gave me the whole Murder House rundown. But of course, that didn't help me at all. The breakdown, which is, of course, what they basically tell actors, like, this is what we know, was that they were seeking a 4 to 5 feet tall, possibly malformed, childlike person. So, it doesn't give me much. Like, I am petite, so I knew not to like wear, high heels, and but malformed, like what am I gonna like, you know what I mean? Like I'm me. Like if
Right.
that's a deal breaker, then I ain't getting the role. And so, but that's a kind of a good lesson, I think, for actors, is we spend so much time like kind of talking ourselves out of stuff, like, oh, I won't get this, and it's like, no, you know what? You're not the casting director. Alok is. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, you're at the end of the day, if you got the audition, you're in the running. Like, don't talk yourself out of it.
Right.
But anyway, that was the audition. The callback, and then I'll shut up. Was even more interesting, and that is that it was really just a meeting with makeup. They did took a bunch of photos of me, which they later manipulated to see how I would look in the role. And of course, and they did this with a bunch of actresses. And, at the end of the day, the bridge of my nose looked best, which is, again, something I like to remind myself as I'm, invariably like berating myself as I drive home from auditions, because my reader is bogus. Just kidding, Alok. But, it's like, at the end of the day, you don't know. Like, maybe your nose is perfect, maybe it's not, maybe you look like the director's ex-wife, like, in which case it doesn't matter. You could be Meryl Streep and you're not getting the role. So anyway, it was an interesting process, to say the least.
I remember she showed up to we had some like Thai food birthday or something, and we're drinking a big thing of beer, and she shows up with her head shaved. This is after she's been doing the role. We're like, why did you fucking shave your head? I mean, like, can't talk about it. And I'm like, okay.
Well, and for the longest time, I had that little like kind of like hair yarmulke with just the shaved head. And that was when I really couldn't talk about it, because it's like, how do you justify that? Like, have you joined a cult? Are you Hare Krishna now? You know what I mean? People were like, what is this? So I just wore a wig. I looked like I had like a fabulous hair day every day.
Oh my goodness. All I know is I just want to sit down and play Trivial Pursuit with everybody now, because I got to hear these questions read in Alok's famous style.
Oh, you're going to get the opportunity later on. Trust me.
Yes, trivia.
But, perhaps, if we can do it.
I want on Alok's team. I am not against Alok.
All right. I hear you.
It's brutal.
I believe it. I get super competitive too. So I hear you. When you want to win, you want to win. Yep. I definitely feel you on that. Well, I love talking to you guys. I love the movie. You guys are great. I'm going to pass it on to Chris. I could talk to you guys all night. I don't want to hog everything. So I'm going to pass it on to Chris, and I know he's got some good stuff for you.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. Hey, it's a delight being here with the three of you. I got to enjoy the movie, and I was texting Ken as I was watching it, especially during the last 20 minutes where it just got wild. I'm a big baseball fan. I don't know if you guys like baseball, but one thing that struck me, and I kept saying that this is a compliment. I was watching till the end. I was watching a AAA version of Rosemary's Baby. you had that apartment complex, and you had these characters who you liked, the nicest people in the world. You would love to have them as neighbors. And David, you created these people, Naomi or Brian or Jerry, and however horrific they are, we're liking them. And when bad things end up happening to them later on, we're like, oh no, Jerry. And we think, wait a minute, of course, but this isn't Jason. This isn't Freddy. The horrific element of this is part of you is saying, I think I could go for that. I think I'd agree to that. And that couldn't have been easy to do.
Well, I mean, I think you picked up on some things that I'm really happy to hear it, that were things that were kind of important to me going in, which was the idea that they're not monsters, right? They're not evil people, at least in their own minds. And that was a direction I gave to all the actors who are in who are part of the community, was you guys are the good guys. You 100% believe everything you're saying. You really are trying to help Sarah. And I think that, that really helped, those performances that they gave sold that, right? Naomi and Taylor right from the beginning, from that barbecue scene, right? It's, it feels like a real marriage, I think, because that's what they're playing. So yeah, I wanted it to feel a little bit, a little icky that way, a little complicated, right? You couldn't necessarily just feel good about what happens. Not to spoil anything, but yeah, that and certainly, like, you can't make a movie like this without referencing the Polanski's apartment trilogy in some way. And definitely there were nods to now I'm blanking on her fantastic actress's name, but the neighbor, her, with the makeup that Edie wears, there's definitely a nod there. But yeah, it's I sort of always thought of this, once I had the basic structure of the script down, I thought, I'm basically taking, it's very much like Rosemary's Baby, but I'm taking all of Rosemary's Baby and packing it into about the first third of this movie. And then it's like, well, what happened if we just sort of followed Mia Farrow, after she finds out it has her father's eyes. So yeah, that's that I really appreciate your thoughts on that, because that's definitely what I was
I think
trying
that's
for.
one of the best lines, the AAA version of Rosemary's Baby. That's the line of the night thus far. I can tell you this.
We'll make it to the show one day.
We'll make it to the big show. No, but to David's point, I always say this, and I think he's a little uncomfortable with it, but I still will say it. Like, I feel like the part when she is like buying into the cult is almost sort of like, American History X, where you're like, this is about white supremacists. But then Edward Norton is so good about saying all these different points, and you're like, I wonder if that's true. But you're like, get white supremacists, no, but you get for a moment sort of engaged in it, in the cult, let's say, and you're like, all right, well, they are trying something. They're not sexualizing this. They're not trying to abuse her in any weird way, which is often the case, let's say. They really do sort of want the best for her. They just have the worst ways of going about it to some extent, is what I would say.
Ruth Gordon, by the way. Sorry about
yes.
Did you get nominated, I think, for that movie? I forget.
Very possibly, yeah.
I forget. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm watching this with Rosemary's Baby in mind, but there was a major difference right off the bat. And I felt so bad for you, Naomi, because I could see what was coming. And Sarah, diminutive, vulnerable, easy target. But we had a little bit more information about Sarah. There was a backstory that you knew was going to play out regarding Dad, and an awful thing that happened that she was ready to spring on. And she got met an influence at work, and she had a look in her eye. And when she first meets Jerry, the sickeningly sweet, nice, handsome guy, I knew she was going to gut him. I won't say if that happened or not, but that's what I was thinking. And all the time, that Naomi or Jerry or Kevin or Mrs. Stanhope are, it's not really seducing, but winning her over, I knew that there was something in her, that there was going to be a reckoning, and it wasn't going to be as easy as the bad guys thought. But if you look at Sarah, just physically, she looks like such an easy target, but you guys put something in her that I was just waiting from the outset. And I don't know if that's a reflection on your direction, David, or Nicole's acting, probably both. But, you know, I just knew that, and I won't say if this happened or not, no spoilers here, that Naomi, Kevin, Jerry, they were in for it one way or another.
Yeah, that's Nicole. She really brought so much depth to that role. And just like, I mean, she's a remarkably skilled actor, and really, you know, was able to bring a lot of layers to a character that could very easily just sort of fall into stereotype or fall into, you know, or just type. You know, we've seen, I think probably part of why you sort of thought, you know, this is where it's going to go is because that's, you know, there's a structure to these movies, right? Like, you know, if the structure was, you know, naive girl falls into cult, the end, like that's not really a satisfying story, right? Like
you see that.
Yeah, in real life.
Although I will say, I'd add to that, especially since I've already dissed Alok's reading in the casting process. You know, I do think a lot of it's in the casting. I think Nicole presents as very naive and very vulnerable. I mean, you know, you could just blow on her and she'd fall over. And so, yeah, the fact that she, you know, grows cojones by the end is something you wouldn't, not, again, spoiler alert, but I think you guys nailed it when you got her.
Well,
and I know you didn't. I know actually she replaced someone else. So maybe you didn't nail it. Maybe you just got really, really lucky.
To be honest, actually, David nailed it because she was his first choice. She really wanted him. He really wanted her quite badly. And what happened is, you know, douchebag producers who just see money. We had another more like popular like TV actress who was like the lead of this show and like all this good stuff. And we can't say who she is because of libel. But you know, she this TV actress made us hire her friend who is like the male lead, the Brian character, and he, you know, you know, guy on some douchebag vampire show on like CW. We're not gonna talk about it either. So we had both of those people. And they dropped out like 4 days before shooting. Like first, she dropped out for no reason. We don't understand why. I was in a Gelson's buying a feminine energy drink for her, as one of the things producers do, because we don't have enough people. Like I'm a Gunga Din for goddamn feminine energy drink. And I got a call from her, like, you know, agent. Oh, she's out. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean she's out? We're trying to get this feminine energy drink for her. They had sent us, the company, to be honest, had sent us a lot of it, but it wasn't going to get there in time. So I was like, I need to go get some more of this feminine energy drink for this one. So I get this energy drink, and my producing partner Shane and I were together, and we hear this fucking news, and we're like losing our fucking minds. I'm just like, I'm going to throw up right here in the store. And he's like, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, and the manager comes to us, we asked for more energy drink in the back because we didn't have enough. And he comes back and he's like, I found some. And I'm like, we don't need it.
So I'm picturing Ken getting Muse
Hey!
estrogen elixir for every show.
Right, I require this now. I need one.
Oh, send it.
I
It'll.
was gonna say, Alok, not all of us are that needy. You need to know that. You don't have to put up with that.
What is that my producing partner and I went to a bar right after this. We'd heard this, and we decided, like, let's just figure this out. And then we got a call that our Miss Stanhope character, her poor husband had, you know, collapsed, rushed to the hospital, and died. So we lost 3 leads on a Monday. We're shooting on a Thursday, right? Yeah. And so we back everything up to the next Monday, thinking we'll try to get somebody. Thankfully, Nicole Bryden Bloom says yes right away, and she flies out. She gets like an afternoon to rehearse with David. That's it. And then we're sitting there on Friday, and it's Friday morning, and I'm still looking through reels for like older lady actresses, and I come across Susan Davis, who was the mom in War Games, amazing actress, cousin of what's his face? Oh, what am I saying here? Dave, you know this. Hold on.
Robert
Cousin-
Altman.
Robert Altman. Bob Altman, right? And he brought her out here, and she got her start, and prolific sort of character actress, actually. I'm looking at her reel, and I see a number at the end of the reel, and I call the number, and I think it's her agent or manager, and it's not. It's her. And I'm like, hey, this is highly inappropriate, but I'm gonna pitch you the movie. I'm gonna pitch you us. And at the end of the conversation, she's like, I've never been in a cult movie before. I think this is an interesting idea. Like that's at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday. By 11:30, we signed her. And so fast forward then to the end of that day, we're sitting in Barney's Beanery, and it's 6:30, and we don't have our male lead, and we're shooting on Monday. And I'm like, holy shit, let's call favors in. So we're like calling people like Jason Blum and their head of like post-production, and make CAA or whoever stay open later for us. And finally, we're in Barney's Beanery. We're drinking again just because we don't know what's going on with our money and whatever else. And we get a call from Gersh. And Gersh was very helpful, by the way. Amazing. Rhonda Price, their whole team, amazing. They helped us get everybody, and Sarah and both Giles, Maddie, or rep by them. Well, we found out that we got Giles, Maddie. We found out that, in fact, the reason we had waited so long to get him was that he was driving down from San Francisco, and he pulled over to the side of the road to read the script like on his phone, right? And he just read his part, and thankfully he said yes. And then we were like, we're making a movie. So we got very lucky.
It could have been a porno for all
That's
you knew.
fine. You have enough feminine energy drink. You drink too many of those. And
It was the funniest thing. We looked at that feminine energy drink. None of that passed my lips, nor David's, nor anybody else's who knew the story. But they brought us so much. It was so nice that they brought us it and didn't make us send it back because this woman, wasn't going to be in the movie. And literally, by the end of the production, it was still in the poor offices of Epicenter, and we were like, "Just someone take it away." Take it away. I can't look at it anymore. Apparently, it's not bad tasting, by the way. It's supposed to be actually pretty good. But
I bet you it's more than 99 cents a can, though.
Oh, no. It's super expensive. It's super expensive. Sorry. Anyway, we can't say what it is. We denigrated them in some way, I'm sure.
I'm going to pass it on to my good friend Haro. And like I said, it was a delight. Thank you so much, guys and gals.
Thank you.
Hey guys, a pleasure being with the three of you.
You too.
I guess, it's been great listening to a lot of the things you guys have said. And it's amazing how everything turned out to be such a good movie, since it's a lot of your first time, and a lot apparently went wrong. Kind of picking on that, I know you guys started off at some festivals. I was kind of wondering, were you guys going to go to more festivals, and then the virus kind of started, and then you guys just kind of had to let the movie go out? Or what was the plan there? I know you guys are doing a lot of marketing recently, like doing podcasts like this. Was that also an unexpected event there?
Well, I think I can speak to that. We had a very, I plotted out our sort of festival trajectory, if you will. We wanted to, get into a big one, and so thankful to Mitch from Fantasia, who programmed us into that festival, because it really did change our lives in a lot of ways. Because not only did we premiere it, I think the world's biggest genre festival. If you're talking about that or Sitges, it kind of goes either way every year. But I will tell you, Fantasia is one of the best festivals you could ever be in. Was the press exposure, but also we met our sales agent distributor, who was amazing, Dark Sky MPI. We met them there at that festival. And, we kind of played a little game with them to see what was going to happen. But ultimately, we went with them because they're a great boutique sort of agency. So in terms of festival run, that was great to get into. And then because of that, we got into all these different festivals. And in addition to that, when you're an indie producer, you also approach the festivals you want to get in, and you say, hey, listen, we were in Fantasia. Help us out, program us. We have some good stuff here, And so we would do that. And we went on a really nice run. However, like you say, towards the end of it, we wanted to be in things like Chattanooga and different things like that. And unfortunately, because of COVID, that got canceled. Other things got canceled too. We were supposed to have a nice theatrical run and a nice premiere and everything. It all got canceled. But, a lot of bad things happen at this production, as I'm sure and everything else, right? But every time a bad thing happens, sort of a good thing happens in a weird way. Like, we didn't get a, theatrical run. But you know what? The VOD numbers, because everyone's in because of the quarantine right now, have been actually probably better than we deserve, and even, better than they would be. So that's one thing, for example. You kind of roll with the punches per se. But I was very happy with our festival run, and we learned a lot. Actually, we went to almost somebody was at every single festival that we were in. And there are so many incredible festivals that unfortunately right now are having to do virtual things and also maybe cancel for this year and stuff like that. I would say, if you can, anytime there is a virtual festival, something you know and love, support them. We definitely supported Chattanooga, for example. We weren't able to be at that one because of some legal stuff with being on VOD and that stuff. Support them if you can. Fantasia's coming up very soon. In August, they pushed it to that now. Give it some money if you can. I know, unfortunately, it's only they're geo sort of, I think, targeted in a way that you can only get it in Canada. But anybody who's listened to this in Canada, please give them some money. They're well worth it. You'll see some good stuff. You really will.
But believe it or not, our Canada audience we were just going through it the other day, is killer. So yeah.
Cool. How's your Slovenia audience?
I'm gonna look while Horo asks the next question. I'm gonna let you know.
Well, apparently, I just found out today. Alok mentioned that we've just been accepted to the Grossman Wine Horror Festival. It sounds amazing. Like, it literally has my name all over it. I would totally go, but what were you saying? I have to literally be like quarantined at the airport for 2 weeks before they let me in?
You can go wherever you're going from the airport. I looked this up, but you'll like the places they have out there in certain towns. It's happening in 2 different towns, and so one of the towns, like on Expedia, for example, has like no hotels. You were staying in someone's like winery, let's say, right? So that's kind of an attractive thing on one level, but just think about where you live right now and how awful it is to be here for 2 weeks. And you have all the creature comforts that you want in terms of all your internet and everything else, and not having that there and just stuck in the wilderness. It's like the start of a horror movie, really.
It is. It might be the next one.
I was gonna say Grossman. Actually, we got into them. They were the first big festival to take us, and we just were not finished. We literally finished the night before we were gonna do a press junket in Fantasia. And I mean, I literally flew out of a morning flight to get out there, and we were just not finished in time for Grossman. And so we ended up meeting with Marco, I'm gonna mispronounce Salem, who we met him at Night Visions in Helsinki, which is also a great festival. And he was like, "You broke my heart. You broke my heart. You said we could have you. You applied, and then when we wanted you for our Vicious Cat, which is one of the categories, which is their biggest category, we wanted you for Vicious Cat, and you said no." We're like, "No, we weren't finished. I swear to God." But now we are finished, and we're kind of ending at a nice big top 25 genre festival in the world. So that's the nice news. And we were like, if we could have gone, if COVID had not happened, we would have totally gone. Naomi Grossman would have totally gone and you should just look at the video for this place. They have amazing wines here. There's a vineyard, and no one even knows about this whole area very much in normal circumstance. It's amazing. Just look at the video they have for this, and you just see acres and acres of wineries and all kinds of wine, and so upset.
So upsetting.
So upsetting.
Well, that's part of it, and going to the festivals and that kind of always changes. But you guys have also received a lot of great reviews. I gave it a good review. I know you guys mentioned the USA Today. That was very terrific. So David, finding out that you had a script that you did many years ago, and you brought it back, you made some changes, and now you put it out there and it's so well received. What are you most proud of, and going through that experience and being able to bring this film to everybody?
I mean, I think honestly, just finishing it. This was nothing I'd ever done before. The scale of a feature, I'd done a lot of shorts, and I'd done webisodes and all kinds of, I'd done some interactive stuff. I had never done anything to the scale of this, and it just to have it, for everything we went through, and I can't say enough about Alok and Shane as producers. Like, they really they were very patient, because this process lasted at least a full year longer than I think they wanted it to, or any of us really wanted it to. But to have it, like, you go through, you write something, you have it in your head, and especially, something I'd written so long ago originally, like, it's been in my head in one way or another for years. And then to have everything going wrong during pre-production, like, to the point where I didn't think, I thought there was a good chance we weren't even going to shoot, to go from that to then getting on set, and just the relief of stepping on set and then having these incredible actors bring this thing to life. And it's like, oh, this actually feels like the thing in my head to some degree. There's, everything changes when it becomes real, but like, it's been, as difficult as it all was, like, I can't wait to do it again, because it's just like the satisfaction of going through that process and coming out with something on the other end that you feel proud of, and that you feel proud of for everybody who contributed to it. It was such an incredible team effort. There's nothing like it. I've never experienced anything like this before.
Awesome. Well,
It's like giving birth, right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't myself, but
My wife might hear this, so I'm not going to say that. I don't think this is anything like giving birth.
well, but
I was gonna say
it was a lot of work, but after
Yes.
it's done, you're like, let's do it again.
Yeah, yes, it does have that in common.
Yeah.
I think that I think a lot of, like, what you're saying, like, adulation and success, whatever, actually makes all the shit you went through worth it. Like, and also, speaking of giving birth, like, essentially after David's wife was pregnant with their baby, and she's even in the movie as well, obviously. When we finished having the movie, right, like, earlier the baby should come, he had his baby. And so this poor guy is trying to, like, edit a movie, deal with a baby, and, like, go through all this shit. And we're like, we're supposed to see the director's cut by March. It's end of April. Where the fuck is this Marmor? And I was like, I feel bad, because I was just like, God damn it, I knew you got a baby, but fuck that baby. You can do this. And, like, then I had a baby, like, right before the reshoots. Like he's dealing with this in April. Now it's August, and now I've just had my baby a month before shooting, and I was like, I'm so sorry, David. I am so sorry.
That was a really satisfying phone call to get.
But going back to David's point, we all trusted each other. We were patient. And the whole thing was, like, listen, it was going to take longer, but I'd rather it take longer and be, like, good than not. And that was a whole part where we were, trying to submit to festivals earlier than we should, because it wasn't quite finished, but we wanted to try to get on the map with it. And it didn't happen for a long time. And then when it finally did happen, it all happened for a reason. And in the time it did, because we trusted each other, and we were kind of patient, and we had the time and money to be able to be patient. We were like, where's the money? It wasn't like that. It was just sort of like, just make it good. Please just make it good.
And it worked out. I mean, as much as I'm sure we all would have loved a theatrical release, my goodness, to come out on, like, at this time where we're all literally have nothing to do but stream, we're all trapped in our apartments with nothing to do but watch movies about being trapped in apartments. It's so meta. It's amazing. You couldn't have made this up. That's why the fact that you wrote it 2 years or years and years ago, and thought it was going to happen so much sooner, but didn't. It just makes me, like, I don't know, believe in God or something.
And not to be a producer about it, but I'm going to be a producer for a second about it. It was just the price has just been reduced on iTunes to $4.99. Right? You can own it for less than half a beer in Los Angeles. You can own this movie now. So I would just say, if you like it, and I think all these, like, guys here that are commentators are definitely recommending it. I would say just go get it, like $4.99.
Yes. Well, yes, I'm definitely going to continue to put that out there. And finally, Naomi, it's great to talk to you again. I had the pleasure of meeting you at a festival several years ago, actually a convention, and you couldn't have been nicer, and I very appreciate that. I actually gave you one of these T-shirts.
Oh my God!
Do you remember
Yes.
that?
I wish I'd known I was going to be seeing you. I would have worn it. I mean, I don't really wear clothes anymore. Like, I haven't worn anything that wasn't like pajamas or bathing suit in, months. But I did put something on for you. But yes, do you know, I actually paired up with a designer, sort of an aspiring young designer friend, who, I don't know if you've seen it, but she kind of like cut it up and made it all sexy, gave it a collar. Yes, that's
Right there.
it. It's so awesome. I love it so much. I wish I'd known I would have worn it.
That's so rad.
Thank you so much. Where did we meet? Remind me.
I believe it was in Miami. I think it was Fort Lauderdale. It was in 2015. I believe it was Shock Pop. I believe that was it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, the promoter of that, and I usually try to be real nice and like diplomatic and not talk, SHIT, but he actually walked away from his what am I trying to say? In addition to not dressing, I also don't talk very much anymore. So, having difficulty getting my words out. No, he walked out on his hotel bill. So we all got stuck with that very fancy hotel that we stayed at for the weekend, which was,
Ouch.
normally, you could talk to the credit card company and say, hey, what's going on? But they were like, yeah, no, he's filed for bankruptcy, and it is what it is. So yeah, I'm glad your t-shirt was honestly one of the few good things to come of that weekend. It was a very expensive weekend for me. And it shouldn't have been. It was supposed to be free.
I'm glad you got a free t-shirt out of it, and hopefully everything else went well. I know that was a one-time, you'd be happy to know, I guess, he did go bankrupt, and that was a one-time only convention. It never came back. So
well, it better not. I mean, if it does, it's fine if they want to return, but I would like my, $700 or whatever.
With the movie, Luke was saying $5.99. He's got the money in there. He does. So he'll reimburse you.
$4.99.
$4.99.
Fiverr. It's a Fiverr. It's like half the price of a beer in LA.
There you go.
Or New York.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. I don't want to take up any more time, and I will throw it back to Ken.
So listen, this is where the fun begins, you guys. On our show where the scary things are, we like to put our guests through the Deathly 13 trivia questions, totally random. We give you 3 lifelines, okay? You can ask either one of us, Chris, myself, or Horo, if we know the answer. We don't know what the question is going to be. Muse is going to ask the questions, okay? You can ask for multiple choice, or you can postpone a question to maybe have it in your head and to tip of your tongue or whatever, or you want to Google it secretly without us seeing. You could do that. So Muse is going to ask you these 13 questions. You guys, between the 3 of you, just if you know it, shout it out. If not, just blame Luke. All right, here we go.
Are we competing against each other?
No. If you want, I mean, that's 39 questions we can ask. We'll be here all night.
No, I just want to make sure because I got to know how I should.
No, it's team effort.
Like, do I need to read crazy or?
No, it's a team effort. Team effort.
Team noted. Okay.
All right, Muse, go ahead.
All right, you guys ready to do this?
Ready.
All right. Question 1. I'm just going to jump right in. What Pulp Fiction actor played the character of Russell Franklin? What?
The character of what?
What Pulp Fiction actor played Russell Franklin in the movie Deep Blue Sea from 1999?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, just shout it out. Don't even let me finish the question. Just power through it, dude. Definitely. Okay, yeah, that is correct. Question 2. What actress played Grace Stewart in The Others?
Yes. Would that be Nicole Kidman?
Nicole Kidman.
That is, yes, Nicole Kidman. All right, you guys are jamming. Question 3. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a movie synopsis, and I want you guys to tell me which movie I'm speaking of. All right, here we go. miners discover a mysterious yet delicious goo, and they decide to sell it to the public. But the goo takes over the mind of whoever eats it and makes them to crave more and more of the mysterious substance in this 1985 film.
Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go multiple choice on that one.
Okay. All right. Is it The Blob, The Stuff, or The Thing?
It's got to be The Stuff, because I don't think that sounds like The Blob or The Thing. What do you guys think?
I think it sounds good. I think it's.
Yeah. Let's try this.
Audible.
Let's try this. Let's try this stuff.
It is The Stuff from 1985.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay!
In your face.
Your face.
In whose face?
Oh, you guys are awesome. All right. Question 4. Legendary special effects artist Dick Smith created many memorable moments, but perhaps none were as jarring as the exploding head he created for what early David Cronenberg film?
Scanners.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Scanners.
that epic.
All right.
Yeah, Scanners is correct. All right, question 5. This is a true or false, so just whoever wants to shout this out. True or false? Actor Tony Todd filled his mouth with live bees to film a critical scene for the film Candyman.
I'm gonna say true.
Does everybody agree?
I
don't
hope
think
not.
so.
I hope not.
He's kind of method. He seems intense. I feel like he probably would have done it.
I'll go with you. I don't know one way or the other.
All right.
I don't see it, but I'll.
Well, Alok is right. He did actually. That is, I thought that was.
Ow.
All right.
All right. Question 6. Which cast member from the NBC show The Office met his demise in the movie House of 1,000 Corpses from 2003?
I know. Well, we could go
put it out
lifeline.
there.
We could go lifeline on that if you want, Alok.
We lifeline this early though. I think we should. I guess. Well, hold on. Do we have to get all 13 right, or is it a thing where we can get a certain amount right out of the 13, and that's just our legend at that point?
No, you
We have to
just
get all
see.
13 right, or-
You got to see how many you get right. It's. We've had somebody go 14 for 30. There's a bonus question at the end, so it's just bragging rights on our show.
Friendly competition. Got it. I think we should lifeline right now. We should just do it. Just be aggressive.
All right. So if I had to, this is not an official guess, but if I had to guess blind, I would have guessed Rainn Wilson. So Ken, are you lifelining us here?
I think you should just go with your gut.
I
for
do.
it.
too. That answer.
I'm gonna guess
Barbara.
Rainn Wilson.
There you go.
Yes, it is. It's
Look at that.
right. All right. So I'm glad you didn't burn Ken as a lifeline because I think he may actually know this next one if you guys get stuck. So question 7, the movie Carnival of Souls from 1962 takes place in what U.S. state?
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that one.
Yeah, I don't even know that.
All right.
It feels
Ken.
like Indiana. I don't know. I just said that.
I don't know.
Ken.
It's a lot of different.
Don't. I'm not playing. I don't know.
Should we use a lifeline here?
Carnival of Souls.
Yeah, I got no idea.
Florida.
I think we asked Ken for the lifeline.
All right.
Oh, somebody's phone. I love that. Is that In Excess?
Love that song.
Yeah, we could just skip this and listen to In Excess all night. I don't like it.
Whose phone is that?
What is that?
Oh, that was definitely somebody. Oh, look, somebody's. Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there's a cat. Okay, so as far as the city, I actually don't remember. So,
State.
Oh no.
oh, the date?
The state.
Oh, the state? Oh, I'm gonna guess. I don't know. New York City. New York. I don't know.
It's actually Utah. It's Utah.
All right.
You're in the bid property manager. That's one bid.
What's happening here?
Hold on.
and
I have no idea.
You're going
Talking.
to have
Naomi, did you put that on somehow or no?
Nothing's happening. They're
I'm not
chopping down
aware,
all
so
the
this
trees
is,
around me, but
very
other than
exciting.
Hold
that,
on.
As always, I'm joined by Jason Brandt. Hi. And Jack
Weird.
and
Hold
BZ,
on one second.
better-
That's weird. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
And you know what? We kind of want to thank Sheridan Bradford for this because
Hold on.
he put out
Hello,
the
is this on your
Blair-
computer?
Blair answer.
I
So
am.
it's true.
Yeah, I think it was. Sorry.
That's okay. It
Oh,
could have
wow.
been. It could have been porn.
All kinds of
I
things
mean,
to
it could have
go
been. I'm not gonna lie. All right, sorry. We didn't
That's okay.
question. Did we question or not?
No, we
we
didn't. We
missed
missed
it.
it. We missed it out of technical
Alright.
difficulty. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should hold that one back then. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I'll ask you this: what Muse? I'm just going to jump into question 7. What series on Stars did Evil Dead? What did they make for Stars for Evil Dead?
Was that Ash versus the
Oh
Evil?
yeah! How did you know? All right. There you go.
I like
All right.
that was a gimme, but I'll take it.
All right. Question 8.
I'm having a blast. Okay, question 8. I'm trying not to laugh.
Keep it together, lady. Keep it
I'm
together.
trying. Okay, question 8. So I'm going to give you another movie synopsis. You guys tell me which movie I'm speaking of. The grandson of an infamous mad scientist inherits his grandfather's castle and tries his hand at the mad scientist game in this 1974 comedy.
That's Young Frankenstein, I think.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It
Nice,
is
nice.
classic. Yeah.
Good.
Great movie. Love that
Yes.
movie.
Love that movie. Okay, question 9. What Grammy winner played a witch named Winifred in the movie Hocus Pocus from 1993?
Bette
That's-
Midler.
Yeah.
Nice, Naomi. Good job.
Nope, coming
Finally.
in strong.
All right, question 10. Which actor from the movie The Lost Boys played ex-cop Ben Carson in the movie Mirrors from 2008?
Kiefer Sutherland.
That's Kiefer, yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
I played about Kiefer Sutherland one time. We were sitting there at what's it called? Oh God, it's Good Luck Bar. That's in Swingers and stuff like that. And I went over to a friend and I just like spanked her in the butt, like really playfully, but kind of like almost too hard. And Kiefer Sutherland turned around and is like, "Hey, my man, you'll get a lot further. Just a little tap tap." Instead of like that.
Oh God, I love it.
I was like, "Thank you, Kiefer Sutherland. Thank you." Anyway, sorry.
Oh, I'm crying. That's it. I'm dying right now. I'm dying.
Like, whew, I'm dying. You guys are awesome. Oh my God. This is so much fun. Know what number we're on? I think
11 and Kiefer Sutherland 24 slapping asses. Sorry, got it.
No, it's tap tap. I'm just like
They get,
Kiefer
they
Sutherland,
get
tap, tap.
bonus. They get
Only
bonus
she got a
points for
point because of
that.
that story, right?
They get
Right.
bonus points.
All
for
right,
that.
15 for 13. We're on a roll.
All right. The actor Scott Bakula played the character of Harry D'Amour in what 1995 Clive Barker film?
Oh fuck, I know this. It's someone with a cult, and they all try to burn themselves at the beginning of the movie, and then he goes, "Oh god, what is it? Ah,
You want to save it for later? Maybe think about it. We'll move on.
yeah.
All right, so question 12.
All right, question 12. What Golden Girls actress played Mrs. Dolores Bickerman in the movie Lake Placid from 1999?
Wait.
Yeah, that epic, her epic line in that movie. I guess I could say it, but I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna refrain.
So this is question 13. If you get this right, you get 2 more points. And then we'll come back at the end of 13 to ask question 11 about Scott Bakula. So question 13, go for it, Muse.
Okay, so this is a true or false again. So whoever wants to shout this out. So true or false? The movie Last Man on Earth from 1964, the movie The Omega Man from 1971, and the movie I Am Legend from 2007 are all based on the same story.
Yeah, Richard Matheson, I Am Legend.
Great book. Great
Yeah.
book.
I actually just was reading I do little synopses of movies when I watch them. And just today, I randomly was looking through and read my synopsis of Last Man Standing. Vincent Price. It's not a good movie.
I can watch anything Price. I don't care what
Yeah,
it
I
is.
mean, I love
Watching,
Price,
Mr.
but
Price paints houses. I'm in.
yeah. No, he's great. But yeah, that movie was like, it's not great.
Yeah, that compared to the book, if it was
Yeah.
standalone, yeah. So if it was just a movie, like, oh, this is a good movie. But yes, even with I Am Legend, but the book was excellent. All right, Alok, did it come to you, Scott Bakula?
Well, you still have multiple choice too.
Oh, that's right.
Multiple choice. I know I'll get it with multiple choice, 100%.
All right. So here's
Well, I thought it's my tongue. It's like God of something, and then I don't. Go ahead, just go.
close. You're close.
All right.
Is it Nightbreed, Hellraiser, or Lord of
Yeah,
Illusions?
that's the one. Third one. Third
Well,
one.
sorry, what is it? Lord of what?
Lord of
of
Illusions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lord of Illusions. That is correct. All right.
All right, so Horo has spoken and said you guys get extra credit with Kiefer Sutherland Taparoo. So you guys, for the first time in the history of Where the Scary Things Are, 53 episodes go 14. Well, no, 15 for 13. We've never had that done before. So well done. So before we let you guys go and be on your merry way, just real quick, if you guys want to go and tell me what's up next, what's in the pipeline for each of you, and where we can find you on social media. David, let's start with you.
So I am using this quarantine time to do a polish, another draft on my next script, which Alok will kill me if I even tell you the title of, but it's a science fiction movie, and really excited about it. And Alok and Shane and our producer Sam Sandweiss are going to be producing it, and they're doing their thing, and I'm doing my thing. And as soon as things open up, hopefully we'll get cameras rolling.
I can piggyback on that to say that we're essentially trying to J.J. Abrams the shit out of this, so we're not telling you anything. We're not letting you know what's in the box. Find out what that's about. And that's going to be the next movie we do after this movie I'm going to tell you about real quick. It's a movie called Emergent. Marcel Sarmiento, who wrote and directed Dead Girl, is doing that one. Sci-fi horror thing. Can't tell you much about it, but that's what we're doing next. And then we're doing David's movie after that. And Naomi Grossman is hopefully up for a lot of different roles in all of the movies. But Naomi, please tell us what you're doing.
Well, she doesn't have
I was
to.
gonna say, I've been doing
She just
a lot
walks
of
on.
podcasting, a lot of networking with my friends David and Alok, hoping that they'll put me in these movies. No, I mean this is a time for creators. The actors are kind of unless you're in voiceover, you're kind of twiddling your thumbs right now. One thing people may or may not know about me is that I have a couple one-woman shows, and now I'm working on a third, because as a producer friend reminded me, she's like, until we figure out how to let people actors touch each other, we're gonna have to be kind of limited doing just one-woman shows. So I'm thinking maybe this is my moment. And my hope is, of course, that I'll be able to sell it to one of these streaming services and have it be one of those 1 hour comedy specials. So I feel like, again, the time is now. There's really nothing else to be doing. So other than streaming one BR for $4.99 on iTunes.
Well, listen, Naomi, Alok, and David, we love the movie. We can't wait to have you on again for hopefully 2 more projects you guys are working on together. Naomi, just walk on the set. You get the part, I promise you, okay? Listen, on behalf of Where the Scary Things Are, thank you so much. Till next time, my friends. We'll see you